So you're looking for a job. Okay, a lot of people are, and there are a lot of openings out there for you. So what do? What are the steps you take? Well, you get together your resume, right? Part one. Part two, the cover letter, right? That addendum, that thing that kind of maybe puts you over the top, that separates you from the pack. It's been such a critical part of your past job searches. What is happening now in this day and age that maybe the cover letter's not that important? Chris Burkhard here, Placer Staffing in Newark, talks with us this morning, as he often does on Thursdays. Hey, Chris, good morning.
Pete, it's great to be with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have you. And so I'm seeing these articles crop up about what they're calling the Great Cover Letter Debate, Chris. And I'd just be interested to get your perspective on, I guess, the importance of the cover letter and the debate that's now ensuing.
Well, the fun fact here, Pete, is that job seekers have control right now. They got tons of choices, and they're just flat out voting not to do cover letters. And you're right, cover letters, it's a great opening letter that can explain, your unique situation, why you're qualified, why you're applying for a job, your unique journey. But a lot of folks really aren't doing them, and they don't know what to do with them. And truth is, I was polling some professionals after seeing this, and, it doesn't help that human resources professionals are pretty split on this.
Yeah.
Half of them say they never look at them. The other half say they don't look at resumes that don't have them. So it's no wonder that the value of them is misunderstood, but it is a best practice. And if you're looking for work, here's my advice. Know why you're including it. Keep it short. Stick to your main points. And just be realistic about what it can do for you. But it's the best way still to explain your unique situation.
Yeah, certainly seems to be. What about this? We're hearing about these really good unemployment numbers. Last week, as a matter of fact, record low unemployment at about 173,000 new claimants, Chris. What is the implication of low rates like that? They're the lowest they have been since 1969.
They're staying around 200,000. It goes down to 173. It's up to 205. It bounces back down. What it's all reflecting is it's found the bottom. And what I think really right now what's so unique is I'm calling this like the Goldilocks just right time for job seekers. This can't last forever. It is a perfect series of events. You can choose your job. You can choose your shift. You can choose your hours. You can make demands of employers with where you work, how you work, all those things. But, Pete, the Federal Reserve has a job. They want to make unemployment as low as possible, but they're responsible for inflation. And I'm not an economist, but as interest rates climb, that will lower demand for businesses, for supplies, and over time, that's going to curb this great job market. So for the meantime, enjoy the heck out of it, celebrate. But I kind of feel like inflation is kind of ruining that celebration.
Sure. There are still, Chris, over 11 million, 11.3 million or so jobs posted to hire someone. You have 4.4 million Americans who quit their jobs, presumably for another one. So is this changing at all, or still just this red-hot job market and workers can have their pick of a job?
So in studying this, about a third of them will never get filled, Pete, which really kind of blew my mind. But they go unfilled. They're jobs that people don't want. Their companies simply go without. They automate or they change work schedules with existing workers to cover the gap. So that's really kind of an interesting thing. The number of quits are coming down a little bit. But here's what I think is unique to this spring, and again, this perfect Goldilocks time. A lot of businesses in the last week or two, the big brand names, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Apples, they're starting to come back into the office. And there was a recent study that said 66% of all workers would leave their job to make more money to counter inflation. But I also think there's still this thing where people are deciding whether or not they go back to work or not. So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
The other really cool thing is that retirees that retired early are coming back to work. So I'll pause and let you dig into this.
Now, I was just thinking, I heard and read the other day about people jumping from one job to another, and the fact that I think it was 1 in 5, and it might have been as big as 1 in 3, were saying they actually regretted making the jump, that they realize now that the grass isn't always greener. And, I think maybe one of the scenarios we're seeing in the job market that can be a challenge is because there are the openings and because all the things are falling into place like you talked to, it might prompt more people to jump out of their jobs than maybe need to, if you will.
Yeah, it's sort of artificially stimulated,
Right.
if you will. And I've heard it called the Great Regret.
Yeah.
In other words, over the last 50 years of modern work, money is a very short-term driver. If you go to your new job and you still don't like the hours you work, or you don't care for your boss, or you don't have any friends at work, or the training isn't very good, more money only helps for the very short term. And, of course, at this point, the more money has been kind of trumped by inflation, and that's a challenge. So the gain you had was just simply checkmated with inflation. So the Great Regret, I'm not the first to say it, but, boy, we sure hear it, because you can't always go back to what you left.
No, certainly not. We've talked about a lot, like we always manage to fit in when we chat, Chris. And so for people that are in the process of looking for work, and after hearing what we just talked to, maybe want to find out a little bit more or gain a little bit more knowledge before they make the leap, tell them about myplacers.com, if you would.
Well, sure. Well, first off, this is Placer's 50th year. I'm second generation. So we've helped a lot of Delawareans either find a job, navigate their career, or hire somebody. So if you fit either of those two categories, it's myplacers.com. Ask for me, or I'll assign you to somebody. But we just find with all that we've been talking about the last couple of years on your show, Pete, that there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's really helpful to get someone that you can trust to help you navigate the market.
Yeah, kind of bring you back down, get you a little tethered so you don't just float away with all the anxieties and information out there. Chris Burkhard, Placer Staffing in Newark, joining us on this Thursday morning. Enjoy this lovely day, Chris.
Thank you, Pete. I'm getting my boat ready.
Have a good one.